Chapter 30, Human Alteration of the Biosphere, Section 30.4, Reducing the Loss of Species and Ecosystems. Okay, let's begin first by looking at how can we reduce the loss of species on our planet. And probably the first step is we need to catalog all the species that exist on our planet and assess them for their status. Are their numbers declining? Did they go extinct? What type of factors are leading to declines in their numbers? And this is actually being done, and it's been done for many decades by a group called the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN. And what they produce is something called the Red List. And you can find this Red List on the internet, and this Red List lists a bunch of species that they have done an assessment of. In fact, they've already assessed about over 120,000 species, and of that 120,000 species, they classify about a little bit over 32,000 as being threatened. So the Red List classifies species as either being extinct, and currently since 1500, there's about 882 species that we know have gone extinct, or are they extinct in the wild, and they do exist in zoos and in other types of confinement that's controlled by humans. Are they critically endangered, vulnerable, near threatened, or there's not much concern, least concern? As I said, of the 120,000 plus species that have been assessed on this Red List, about 32,000 are considered threatened with extinction. And here's some pictures of some examples of some tropical fish that live in Western Africa. Now one of my hobbies is keeping tropical fish, and all the pictures that you'll see now are fish that I've kept in my fish tanks, and they belong to a general group called killifish, and some of these, like Fundulopanchex osiri, it's actually extinct in the wild. The only known individuals of this species are ones kept in people's aquariums. Another species that I keep, which is a beautifully colored one, is Fundulopanchex mitai. It's considered endangered. One more species that I've kept is Fundulopanchex sheili, and it's critically endangered. Now, in terms of the evaluation of ecosystems, in the early 21st century, a bunch of scientists got together and with some funding and did an assessment of the environmental state of ecosystems on our planet. And this assessment was called the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. It's available online. There's a link in your notes. It contains 6 publications and the contributions of more than 2,000 authors and reviewers, people that are conservation scientists. The findings are, during the last half of the 20th century, humans have modified ecosystems significantly. And in the beginning of this lecture, I showed you some of the ecosystems that have been heavily altered, including temperate deciduous forests, grasslands, and now tropical savannas are being significantly influenced by humans. And Mediterranean shrubland. Alteration of ecosystems has contributed to large gains in economic prosperity for industrial countries because it's produced land, or it's freed up land that can be used to grow crops or to grow forest products. Over the next 50 years, the human population will grow even more, and primarily in Southeast Asia, South America, and Africa, and these the ecosystems that exist, that live or are found here, are going to be degraded, and due to both population growth and economic development, economic betterment of the people that live there. For the most part, in the middle latitudes, in North America and in Europe, the ecosystem damage has plateaued, and if anything, some of these ecosystems are coming back, especially especially one ecosystem that is gaining natural vegetation again, and animals, is forest, temperate, deciduous, or sorry, not temperate deciduous forest, and temperate coniferous forest. If we want to reduce the damage to ecosystems in the future, we need significant changes in government policies. We need to develop institutions that manage these ecosystems and protect them. And we need to develop economic practices to reduce the potential damage. This diagram here shows some of the factors that influence ecosystems, with the red arrows being negative and the blue arrows being positive. So some of the factors listed include poaching, hunting, and harvesting, strictly negative. Government laws and policies can be both negative and positive. The putting aside protected areas, of course, is a positive thing. Land use change, and what they mean here is converting natural ecosystems into human settlement, forested land, or agricultural cropland is a negative factor. Invasive species or alien or exotic species are a negative factor. Pollution, and toxic substances are a negative factor. Habitat disturbance can be both a positive and a negative factor. Habitat fragmentation is negative. Climate change is for the most part, negative. And of course, we can restore habitats, and that's a positive thing.